Hey guys, welcome to the page, the Black Bullshit. We're here again. Today we're gonna be talking a little bit about the BLM movement in Canada. Is BLM full of BS? That's what we should, that is the question here today. Yeah, so basically, like we know, BLM, it imitates a lot from our southern friends, USA. Basically, anything that the US does or anything that happens in the US affects Canada, through media and people kind of wanting to be, wannabes over here, whether it be fashion, music, obviously movements like this. You could right now you're gonna see a whole bunch of Trump protests in Canada, all over the world. But we do know there is a whole movement against Trump. I guess the SJW culture is becoming more of a worldwide thing. But yeah, in Canada or in Toronto especially, it is a very social justice warrior type environment. People always feel that women first, men last. Now with the gays coming up and those whole transgender thing, they come first. And if you're a man, especially if you're a black man, you're not even considered human being basically. So what we can say about the BLM movement is it seems to be kind of a fake movement. You never see BLM really in these urban ghettos in Toronto. I know for a lot of you Americans, you're like, what, ghetto in Canada? Yeah, we do have, housing where you're going to find people, whether selling drugs or hustling guns, some type of foolishness. And so with that type of situation, obviously shootings do occur, violence occurs, robberies and all these type of things. And, just like the States, nothing different. I'm sure if any of you Americans ever come up here, you see the relationship between, Toronto likes to imitate a lot of Chicago drill and a lot of New York stuff. So that's where, even though we can't legally carry guns up here, Toronto, I should say, has a messed up black gun culture. And if you've ever been to any of these neighborhoods and you're black, you should be, very cautious. Even if you're white, they'll probably rob you or maybe just get looked at funny or might antagonize you or something. If you're black, you might get shot or just beaten up in these type of neighborhoods. This is the reality of it. I mean, I've grown up in these neighborhoods. I have family that's grown up in these neighborhoods. I have friends that have grown up in these neighborhoods, and all the stories are the same. When people leave them, they're very traumatized. Some people have no issues with them because some people they're growing up in it. Others completely traumatized and basically shell shocked to ever go back there. So like I said, it seems like it's a fake movement of mostly women. These women tend to look and appear to me as like lesbians, like dykes, like maybe dyke isn't the politically correct term, so I'm gonna say lesbians, so that they're okay with the whole LGBTQ thing now. And they like to go around throwing words like misogyny and male domination or whatever, and just all this type of trigger words for people to join their movement and basically to nullify any other type of backlash, right? Because once you say you're a misogynist, you're basically against all women and all women's rights. And the crazy thing about in Canada, what you're gonna find is a lot of women say, we want equal rights, we want equal pay, whether it be on construction site or whatever, just craziness, and they're not able to do the same amount of work. Not some are, come on, I really can't say it like that. A lot of women are very, very good at their jobs and know their role in society, where I find that some women coming up now have no clue. Even me, I've talked to some women after they get an education up here, and they say there's no way that they're going to be cooking and cleaning for their man. And it's like, what type of man do you plan to get? Maybe a gay man that's going to be cooking for, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, and I'm not saying I want you slaving over a pot for 8 hours of the day, but if 2 or 3 times of the week, and that's pretty reasonable, right? You should be able to come home to a cooked dinner, and I bring home the money, and you put the bacon on the table, and that's how it goes. But yeah, so you'll never see Black Lives Matter in urban ghettos in Toronto. They love to antagonize white events. Obviously, this summer, I'm going to show the clip right quick of BLM in the gay parade. I believe Toronto has the biggest, or second biggest gay parade in all of North America, I believe behind San Francisco. And yeah, Toronto does have a big gay population. It's mainly downtown in the core, especially in an area called Church Street, Church and Wellesley. Up there, it's like their whole little village, for their own purposes. They have their own bars, and probably if you're straight going down there, probably isn't the best idea. Because for sure everybody down there is, I wouldn't say everybody, but a big percentage of the people down there are gay. And I really have no issues with gay people, but I just do find that right now, with the flamboyancy, they're really trying to push it and not shove it in everybody's face. Obviously, with the TV shows and the media, it's okay. You barely even see, men and women anymore together like that. So it's kind of a new era. So, okay, watch this clip, and you'll see what I'm talking about the BLM in the gay parade.
Shut it down! If Andrew don't get it! Shut it down! If Andrew don't get it! Shut it down! If Andrew don't get it! Shut it down! I said if Andrew don't get it! Shut it down! There's no pride in policing! There's no pride in policing! There's no pride in... Say what? All power to the power people! The power people don't stop! Say what? All power to the power people! The power people don't stop! Say what? All power to the power people! The power people don't stop! Say what? All power to the power people! The power people don't stop! Say what?
Now, another thing, why aren't BLM talking about the mass incarceration of blacks in Toronto? If you look at the stats, Toronto's population is, hold on, let me get this. So yeah, Toronto has a population of 2.6 million people. That's of 2011. And which 8.4% of Toronto is black. But when you look at the numbers of the demographics, or the numbers of how many blacks are getting incarcerated or in federal prison, the numbers are staggering. They're saying that we're increasing at the most rapid rate right now. Every 10 years or so, they keep saying, black incarceration rates keep going up. And so we want to know, why isn't Black Lives Matter addressing this? Because this is a more of a serious situation to us than, and not to not focus on areas of police brutality. And there was a killing, I believe, a man by the name of last name Carby. Something happened in a suburb of Toronto where the police killed a black man, and they were protesting it. And I agree. If there's police brutality, then yes, we need to address it. But we're wasting too much energy. It's sad to say one guy goes, but we have not millions, just thousands of people behind bars, and Black Lives Matter doesn't address it. So it's kind of an oxymoron, kind of a conflict of interest. When you're dealing with something, you kind of want to go for the greater good. If one gets left behind, then we kind of gotta just shrug our shoulders and keep it moving, right? And I'm not saying that we shouldn't protest these things or have discussions and meetings and see these things through. But at the same time, if the amount of black men that are going to be going to jail every year is increasing, you representing Black Lives Matter should be talking about this, because these are your male counterparts. And do you women just not care? Do you women think that you girls can have babies with other women? Like, I really don't understand this. So this is where the whole confusion comes in with Black Lives Matter. And and also they never talk about the abortion. Blacks have in Toronto too, just like the U.S. Blacks have a really high abortion rate. I believe it's around 40 or 50%. And yeah, so that means if you're a black youth growing up in any of these urban ghettos, these urban cities, then it's a very high likely chance that you will be aborted. It's really sad, and I'm not saying that we want women to have, but at the end of the day, why? It's our own faults. The women want to lay down with men and don't want to be responsible, and then want to use government funding to abort these childs, and they're back on the street next week, maybe, screwing down somebody else or trying to get their groove on, right? So, all right, guys, that's it for today. The Black Bullshit. Follow the page, like, subscribe, and keep it moving. Peace.